The Range Rover Evoque features a highly sophisticated yet easy to use 9-speed automatic transmission with a rotary gear selector. In this video, we show you how to engage the rotary gear selector to select a gear, actively change gears manually using the steering wheel paddle shifters, and how to exit manual gear selection.
First, start the engine. The rotary gear selector elevates out of the lowered park position. If the selector fails to elevate, check and remove any obstructions and then restart the engine. If it still fails, the rotary selector can still be used in the lowered position, but make sure you select park at engine switch off and get the fault rectified as soon as possible. Make sure that the vehicle is stationary and then apply the brake pedal before selecting drive, reverse, neutral, or park. Rotate the gear selector to the required position. The related LED indicator in the gear selector then illuminates. The selected gear displays in the message center. To select Sport from Drive, press the gear selector down and rotate to S. The Sport LED illuminates in the selector. Sport mode displays in the message center. The transmission remains in lower gears for longer. To deselect Sport, rotate the gear selector back to D. The Drive LED illuminates in the selector. Drive mode displays in the message center. Manual gear selection using the gear shift paddles. You can select a gear manually while the selector is in drive or sport position. To manually change the gear, use the gear shift paddles mounted on the steering wheel. Pull the left paddle to shift down a gear. The selected gear illuminates in the message center. Pull the right paddle to shift up a gear. The selected gear illuminates in the message center. Using the gear shift paddles when in drive allows you to temporarily access manual operation. Using the paddles when in sport will activate permanent manual operation. To exit manual gear selection, pull and hold the upshift paddle for approximately 2 seconds to return to fully automatic sport mode. To return to drive mode, move the rotary selector back to D. Before switching the engine off, select park. If any other gear position is selected, the selector moves to park. The gear selector retracts into the console. If neutral is selected, the system waits for 10 minutes before selecting park and retracting the selector. This allows time to go through a car wash. Functionality of dynamic stability control. DSC automatically enables when you switch on the ignition. The DSC system enhances vehicle stability when accelerating and starting from a standstill. DSC identifies unstable driving behavior, such as understeer and oversteer. It is not a substitute for driving safely with due care and attention. It does not correct any error in judgment by the driver. The system manipulates engine output and applies the brakes at individual wheels. Some noise may be heard when the brakes are applied. To disable DSC, press and briefly hold the DSC off switch, which is located above the rotary gear selector. This may increase wheel spin due to a reduction level of traction control intervention. The DSC off warning lamp will illuminate in the instrument panel. DSC must be switched off when traction devices are fitted or it is necessary to improve traction, when rocking the vehicle out of a hollow or deep rut, pulling away in snow or on a loose surface, or driving through deep sand or mud. To re-enable DSC, press and briefly hold the DSC off switch. Alternatively, select a new terrain response program. DSC automatically re-enables when the ignition is switched off and back on again.
For more information on your Range Rover Evoque, visit LandRoverUSA.com or contact your retailer.